Yo, let's talk about design size. What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today we're gonna be talking all about design size and how to think about what size your design should be when you're ordering transfers. This is one of the most common questions I get. Hey, what size are your designs? And I always tell people they vary. Doesn't matter, there's no standard, there's no like every design I make has to be this size. But what I do tell people is rarely do my designs ever go bigger than 12 inches. And when they hear that, they're like, wait, what do you mean? Because I'm designing stuff that's 12.5 or I'm designing stuff that's 13 inches and blah, blah, blah. And that's cool. If that's the size of your design, then that's the size of your design. For myself, rarely do I ever go bigger than 12 inches wide because a lot of times you have to remember how it lands on the body. The body is round, the body is not flat. A lot of people design for flat surfaces because the t-shirt, when you're pressing, is a flat surface. They forget what it looks like when it's actually draped on the body. So I do a lot of back prints. Majority of my back prints never go wider than 12 inches. A lot of times they're under 12 inches and I'm gonna explain why. But for myself, this is what visually looks good to me. Do you have to make all your designs this same size? No, you don't. This is just what works for myself and what I like to do. There's no rule to this. This isn't law. This isn't something that every single t-shirt creator out there goes based off of. This is just what works for myself. And this is how I figure out my design size. Now, when I said a lot of my designs don't go bigger than 12 inches. Why is that? I use Supacolor wearable transfers. This is their biggest transfer size right here, which is 11.7 by 16.5. This is their standard Supacolor wearable biggest gang sheet they offer, is this one right here. This is what I print. Majority of what I sell retail is printed on transfers like this. Now, most of you guys are gonna be like, well, you could just get DTF gang rolls and they go 22 inches wide and blah, blah, blah. And that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. If you wanted to do that, that's perfect for you. You don't have to sell me on why what you're doing is the best option. There's options for everybody. I'm just sharing what works for myself. So when I'm going based on design size, this is a very standard design size. Here's the back print. Here's the front print. This is one t-shirt right here. Back print, front print. This right here. So it'll get cut off right here. Boom. This right here is going on the back. This is going on the front center of the shirt. So if you're thinking in your head, all my designs got to be 12 inches. If this is 11.7, you're never going to notice the difference when the t-shirt's on the body from a 12-inch design to a 11.7 design. You're never going to notice visually what that difference is. And that sounds crazy. I know there's a lot of people out there and be like, man, no, my design has to be 12 inches. 12 inches is what looks good for me. 11.7 is not going to work for me. That transfer's too small, blah, blah, blah. If that's you, by all means, you use whatever you have to use and what you feel comfortable using. I use these Supacolor wearable transfers because they fit for me. My designs never go bigger than 12 inches. I keep them at 11.7 to fit that gang sheet, and they look perfect when they're on the body. My big West Side design, the 4 fingers up, 2 twisted in the middle, that's the size of that design, 11.7 by 16.5. I put that on a size small t-shirt up to a 3X t-shirt, and it looks perfect on the body. There's no issues when it comes to design size because in your head or when you're designing on the screen, if you're using Photoshop or Illustrator, your artboard is probably set up to 12 inches wide or whatever, and then you're set on that. If you scaled it down a little to fit this transfer, nobody's ever gonna notice. If it's like 2 or 3 inches off, somebody's gonna notice. But we're talking about 11.7 versus 12 inches. Nobody's gonna miss that 0.3. Nobody's even gonna notice it. So I wanted to show you what that looks like actually on the table with the grid, with a ruler, just to get your mind wrapped around not being so hung up on the design size, but making it fit whatever you're trying to do. So check this out. So here's that design we're talking about, right? 11.7 is what this is. Edge to edge. $11.7, right? That's where we're at. 11.7. This is 12 inches right here, where my finger's at. This is the edge of the design right here. So if this right here is 12, I'm trying to bend this up so you can see the number, that's 12. Design is 11.7. 12 comes up, boom. This is all we're missing right here. From there to there. That right there is never gonna be noticed. Visually, to somebody's eyeballs, it's never gonna be noticed. That's what's on the back of this t-shirt right here. So let me show you what that looks like while it's pressed on. This is extra large t-shirt. This is the back print. This is an extra large t-shirt. From the sleeve, 5 inches. From this sleeve, 5 inches. When this t-shirt's being worn, the person wearing this isn't flat. They're not shaped like a table. This is gonna be worn. So this is gonna wrap the body, right? The body's round, it's gonna wrap the body. If this was any bigger, like let's say somebody was like, oh man, I wanna make my t-shirt designs 15 inches. This is 15 inches on the ruler, and you put that here. When this design is worn, that design has the potential to wrap into the person's armpit that's actually wearing this shirt, because remember, the body's round. That's just how the body is shaped. So for me, 11.7 or 12 inches or whatever it is, works perfect. This lands right in between the person's shoulder blades. Like I said, 11.7. From this point right here to this point, these are the furthest points on the design width-wise. Comes up to right there. Boom. This design for back print is standard for myself. This is just a standard size for any back print that I do. This City Don't Love You, same exact thing, 11.7 all the way across. For the West Side shirt, same exact thing, 11.7 all the way across. This goes on a size small shirt all the way up to a 3X shirt. I don't size up the design, I don't size down the design. This is what it is. A lot of people think the design has to be huge. You want to be able to show off the design and the print and blah, blah, blah. And that's cool. If you're going for a big all over print, by all means, go as big as you want. For myself, when it comes to me, I size my designs based on the transfers that I buy. 11.7 is the widest I like to go because I feel that fits the best on the back of a t-shirt. That's what I do. If you feel that a back print needs to be bigger than 12 inches, then design it bigger than 12 inches. I don't know no better than you do. I'm going based off of what visually looks good to myself. You have to do what visually looks good to yourself. If your designs look better, if they're 15 inches, 16 inches across, by all means, go for it. That doesn't bother me. That doesn't hurt my feelings. You do whatever you want to do. This is me doing whatever I want to do. This is a 2-color design. This makes sense to myself. Does this mean that it makes sense to everybody out there? No. But if somebody's asking me what size are your designs, I design most of my stuff to 11.7 if I'm talking about across, width-wise. That to me makes the most sense. Height-wise, length-wise, that all depends. This design right here, from the bottom to the top, is 17.5. I mean 7.5, sorry. Oh no, about 7.25. So I could gang 2 of these up on a gang sheet. Easy call, no problems, right? That's definitely not an issue. These were cut off of the same gang sheet right here. Also, the front print was right here on both sides. This front print right here says always on the grind. Was here and here. This is the gang sheet. So I fit 2 back prints and 2 front prints on one gang sheet. And this is 11.7 by 16.5. This is just how things work out for myself. This is why I design things a certain way, is so I could use the gang sheets to the best of my ability so I get the most bang for my buck. So now I have a white and gray print, I have a yellow and white print, I have the front hits, the left chest prints right here and right here. I cut them out, and now I could press these onto the t-shirts. Once again, this is what works for myself. You don't have to do things this way. This is just what works for me. Before anybody asks, this is what the front of the shirt looks like. They're gonna say, hey, what size is that front left chest print? This is 4.5. Can you pick that up on the camera? 4.5 by 2. So 4.5 inches wide by 2 inches. Do all of your left chest prints have to be 4.5 inches wide? No, they don't. They could be 4, they could be 3, they could be 3 by 2. They could be 3 on the long side. It doesn't matter. Everything that I do, I just go based on what visually looks good to myself, right? Here's 2 bars of text. It's gonna be 2 inches. Is 2 inches tall too big or too small? Doesn't matter. Whatever looks good to you is what you need to go based off of. When it comes to this little one right here, if I'm doing my gang sheet and I'm putting 2 of the big back prints on there, I'm gonna measure on the gang sheet what space I have left. And that space is gonna be this. So that's why this one ended up being 4.5. I think that's what I said it was. 4.5. I made this one 4.5 because I had 4.5 inches of width left on that gang sheet and I had 2 inches to play with. So that's why that design ended up being this size. I just made the gang sheet work for myself. That's all it is. All right, I really hope this made sense to somebody out there by showing you with the actual ruler what things look like and why I size things the way I do. It's just so it makes sense for myself when I'm ordering these gang sheets. If you don't use Supacolor wearable transfers and you use some other company, take whatever gang sheet size they have and see how many of your designs fit on there. If your designs are a little bit wider than what the gang sheet is, see what it looks like shrunken down a little bit. Like I said, I'm not gonna miss those 0.3 inches if my design was supposed to be originally 12 inches, but I'm limited to 11.7. For myself, nobody visually is gonna notice that that design is 0.3 inches smaller than the original size. Nobody's gonna be able to see that. If I had 2 of those designs side by side, you would never be able to know which one is bigger because visually you can't see that. And when the t-shirt's being worn, it's what it is, you know what I mean? Don't put too much thought into it. Go based on what visually looks good to you and what allows you to do what you need to do. If you wanted to use DTF gang rolls because you could get more on a sheet because it's 23 inches wide, 22 inches wide, whatever it is, that's cool. You don't have to sell me on whatever you're using to get some sort of validation on why your choice is the best choice. Doesn't matter. I have no business within your business. Your business is your business, so you do what makes sense to you. That's all I'm doing. I'm not even looking for validation with this video. I'm just showing you guys how I size my designs up and I make these Supacolor transfers work in my favor. I personally love the quality of the Supacolor wearable transfer. That's why I still use them. If I didn't like that quality, I wouldn't be using them. But to me, that's the most durable, most consistent, with the quickest turnaround and the best washability, in my opinion. Does my opinion matter? It probably doesn't. I'm just saying this is what I do. This is what I use. This is what I sell in my retail store. This is what I sell online. Now, if you guys got any questions about anything I just spoke about, please let me know in the comments. And if you wanted to, follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.